All right, family, welcome back. So, here for another conversation with DDM CEO Neil Nelson. And I like to call these things views from the C suite myself, right? And just get a little bit of perspective on a few different things. We've talked about a lot. Neil, one of the things I know we were speaking on was the narratives that undermine Black male and female relationships. So, if you were to look online, and follow that path, you might think these relationships, in terms of our community with male and females, are in shambles.
I think that we have to go back to understanding again why do we have why do we need to have these family units? What's the purpose of it, and why do we not have them working the way they should? What's wrong is more obvious, and what's caused the error. We live in a world today that many scholars call a very liberal society, and the liberal nature of the society is tells us or informs us. The asili of Western European liberal society informs us that what we feel like doing individually is the most important thing in consideration, and we should evaluate the world first and foremost, and almost exclusively from a individualistic perspective. We should construct our own moral ethos. We should form our own cultural asili by ourselves, for ourselves, and then we should then, in the way to facilitate harmony in the world, is for us to respect every other person's purpose, morals, ethics, and so on and so forth. Well, that's a recipe for disaster, right? And we've seen that unfold over the last several decades. Historically, almost every civilization that is worthy of being called a civilization across every planet, I'm sorry, not planet, every continent, and among all people, has recognized that morality and at least is informed by something inherent in reality itself, and that human beings at their best are not trying to construct their own moral codes, but are trying to uncover to get better clarity on what is at the core of reality as it relates to what the moral code should be. It's a difference in orientation. One is a search for in earnest that should correspond with something bigger. And it ends, as I said earlier, the African approach has been, well, what's writ large in the cosmos, right? What's writ large in nature? Let's use those laws and principles to inform how we create our moral code in our society, our laws, our precepts. When you have this liberal model, everyone begins to construct their own thing, and everyone begins to have their own expectations of what you should do in relation to them. And that's why you have this beef about whether it should be 50-50, whether you should pay for everything if you're a man, whether you should come to the table being 6 foot tall with six pack with abs that look like you're a world class athlete and have at least $100,000 in income. All of these expectations are based on individuals trying to work out for themselves what they think the other should do for them in the context of the relationship. When you have that perspective and you don't make sure that somebody else hasn't shared that with you, it's a recipe for disaster. So if you and I enter into a business relationship, as an example, I'll say, and I come to it with a certain way in which I want to do business, and I expect for you to do business, and we don't have, and you come with another set of expectations, and on for me and for yourself, if those two expectations set are not uh, coherent, they don't overlap, and we're going to have a lot of conflicts. And so this is why we have the situation in the community, is that we have a disjointed set of expectations. And so the way to readjoin and to bring coherence into union to those sets of expectations is to have is to revitalize the cultural asili of our people. And while there's great diversity in the African continent and for African people around the world, historically, over the long stretch, over the millennia, we do have some commonality that our scholars have identified. And one of those I mentioned earlier is to build society and build society's values and mores and prioritization of values and mores and goals based on what's writ large in the cosmos and in nature.